We're back. The voice of reason with ZoWilliams on the Foxxhole Sirius XM.
As to how much power you have. When God sends prophets and messengers, they don't care nothing about your power because they come from the power.
Red nigga, I'm a wonder. Your best success is my worst blunder.
Yes. Black love versus self-hate. Why does it seem as if the black community is at war with itself? Is our topic tonight. Get to your phone lines right now. This is a caller-friendly show. I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear your thoughts on black crime. That's what we're talking about tonight, man. Do we love ourselves? Do we hate ourselves? We behave like we hate ourselves sometimes, especially when someone like Joshua, Johnny Mac's son, can be taken for no reason. And I'm dedicating this show to Johnny Mac, his family, and I wish them love and peace during this most difficult time. But, something beautiful came out of this situation, and this is a dastardly, tragic situation, but something beautiful came out of it. We want everybody to donate, right? We're looking for donations for the Motherland Mentoring Project. And, of course, this is all in the name of Joshua, Johnny Mac's son. Listen, this is a chance for urban youth from Richmond, because Richmond, the Bay Area right now, is kind of crazy. The murder rate is going up. It's a cold little town, man. I even saw a documentary, and I told Johnny Mac about this one time. We were at the Laker game, and I told Johnny Mac I saw a documentary where there was it was a documentary about stress, and part of the documentary centered on an older gentleman who was a youth counselor out of Richmond, California, and his stress levels were through the roof because he was saying the difficulty that he's experiencing is, mentoring and working with these at-risk youth, and then the next week one of them is dead. And then the week after that, another one is dead, and another one is dead. And the stress of having to deal with that daily, weekly, monthly, yearly ordeal of losing child after child after child has now begun to affect his health. You see what I'm saying? And it's a cold situation. So we want everybody to donate to Motherland Mentoring, the Motherland Mentoring Project. Once again, a chance for urban youth from Richmond, California to become global citizens by spending time in the motherland in Senegal, West Africa, to learn new job skills, a new culture, meet new friends, maybe launch a new business, and I think that's important. We want everybody to donate to www.nhnr.org. Click the donate button, or you could call 510-235-9780. Once again, that's 510-235-9780. It's very important that you guys support not only Joshua McClain, but also my brother, my friend, Mr. Johnny Mac. And like I said, this show, Black Love versus Self-Hate. Why does it seem as if the black community is in perpetual war with itself? Y'all got to call me right now. We got great guests. And let me hit another stat real quick. While African Americans compose only 13.5% of the U.S. population, 43% of all murder victims in 2007 were African Americans. That's crazy. 93.1% of whom were killed, they were African Americans. We doing the killing. Why are we killing ourselves? Do we hate each other? Do we hate everything about our community? I got special guests in the building. I got special guests on the phone. When I tell you who the special guests are, we're going to go in. But before I do that, let me ask a question. Y'all can call in on this question. Do black people love money, entertainment, success, and material accomplishments more than we do each other? What? 877-210-6106, that's the number to dial. Do other races and ethnic cultures appear to take more pride in the idea of family than the African American community? How does the social disenfranchisement and abject poverty contribute to blacks' perceived self-hatred? I got questions. I want to know what you think. 877-210-6106. That's the number to dial. Now, let me go to one of my special guests who's in the building right now. We're going to kick this situation off for real. We're going to get busy. Now, he's been here a couple of times. Last time he was here was about a year ago. And he's back in the building. Yes. And he's a good friend of mine. The dude is a cold piece of work. He got books. He's got his own radio program. And now I hear Cat Daddy has got his own movie. I mean, it's a cold situation. My homeboy's going to come in and chime in on this. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the big homie, my partner in crime, how we get down changing the society, none other than Tariq King Flex Nasheed. Let's talk, homie.
What's up, family? How's everybody doing?
Shit. I'm in the building, Big
What's
Pimp.
up, Foxxhole audience? Players, playettes, everybody around the world tuning into the game.
Come on now. We got to do this, man.
Absolutely, man.
Listen, we got some other people coming on, but before we get to them, man, I want to come at you with this.
Yes.
Why are we killing each other?
Man, there's so much, man. So lack of information about each other. We are being perpetually taught to dislike everything that has to do with black or African. Every single day we have the propaganda just killing us every day, every single day. That's the main reason why I wanted to do this documentary, to give us the other perspective about who we really are. Black people, we're just taught that we came from slavery and we're here now. That's it.
Right.
We only go back to slavery. So we just did a documentary called Hidden Colors. We talk about black and African history before slavery because we were not slaves. Slaves did not come from Africa. Doctors, medical men, all types of different people came from Africa. They were enslaved once they got here. We need to understand that concept first and really start controlling the images that we have of ourselves. Now, I'm the Mac man. I got all types of books about macking, getting women, gold digging. There's a time and place to have fun, and there's a time and place to take care of business. We need balance. Black folks, we play too much. Most of the stuff that we have, most of the problems we have, the roots, the seeds were planted in slavery. Male and female relationships, the way it has been put in a dysfunctional state, it all comes from slavery. The way we think and the way we interact and the way we socialize, it's a slave mentality. In slavery, they made sure that black folks partied because when black folks got together, that was dangerous on a serious level. When black folks got together, they might have been plotting an escape or something like that. So they made sure that black folks were drinking and partying, and we do that to this day. We drink and party so much it ain't even fun no more. That's why we fight when we go out to the club.
Wow.
You understand that?
Wow, that's crazy.
You dig?
I'm with you.
So we got to start handling business. We can party and have a good time, but let's take care of some serious business. Let's start educating ourselves. That's number one, because we don't educate ourselves. We are the only people who allow others to educate us.
Wow.
And they're just not going to tell us the truth about ourselves.
Why would they?
Exactly.
Why would they? As a matter of fact, one of the things that pisses me off the most, to no end, do you watch I know you watch the Discovery Channel.
All day. Yeah, exactly.
And I hate when they do the Egyptian documentaries and then they reenact the folk and then they put Middle Easterns and
everybody look like George Lopez.
Yeah, and it's
there.
like, for real? This
Exactly.
is Northeast Africa.
Exactly.
Come on now. This is Northeast Africa. It was, and then they get ambiguous about where it is. Oh, well, Egypt is the Middle East. No, Egypt is Northeast Africa.
Exactly. That whole term, the Middle East, is a new term. That was a term that was created in around 1900 by a naval guy from the Marines here in America. They created that term. There was no such thing as a Middle East. So you have to understand these terms.
Come on, man.
It's deep stuff. And we talk about that in the documentary, all that stuff.
Man, and we're going to go way deeper into this conversation.
Yes, we are.
You know, we just broaching it right now. If you just tuned in, I'm sitting here with none other than King Flex, my brother Tariq Nasheed. And tonight's topic, black love versus self-hate. Why does it seem as if the black community is at war with itself? I need you to get on your phone lines right now. 877-2-106-106. That's the number to dial. I have another guest that I'm going to bring in. She's only going to be in for a short time, but she's a very deep sister. She has a huge following, and I'm going to have her give more information about herself and her credentials. But she was referred to me by my godmother. My godmother, you know, my godmother tell me somebody's cold as ice. I got to roll with her. She was like, this sister's cold as ice. Her name is Dr. Yafa Bey. And a lot of cats know about her. A lot of cats follow her. Very deep sister. You can YouTube her and check out some of her videos. Without further ado, let me introduce Dr. Yafa Bey. Yafa, come on in, sister. Do we have her? Well, what I'll do is I'll continue, and when you guys get her locked in, this is what we'll do. I have a question for you, Tariq.
Yes, sir.
Who are the real leaders of the black community? Is it Wheezy, Kanye, T.I., Drake, Farrakhan, Sharpton, Wiz Khalifa, Barack Obama?
In our documentary, we have a brother named Umar Johnson out of Philadelphia. Real good brother. He's a nationally certified school psychologist. And one of the things he said in the documentary is that right now we don't really have black leadership. We have deal brokers.
Talk to me. Go deeper.
You know what I'm saying? We have people who those on top will pay off a couple of dollars to keep the rebellions down, basically. You understand that? So whenever there's about to be a riot, they send the deal brokers in to say, okay, let's wait on election day. Let's get everybody calm down and be cool. That's what we have. We don't have black leadership no more. Because in the 1960s, they were killing off everybody, all the black leaders. They were going to town on black leaders. So that put a lot of fear in the hearts of black people as far as wanting to go into black leadership. Wow. Because they equate leadership with being a target.
Wow. I got another question for Tariq and my guest when she comes on, but this is a question to all my callers. I'm going to come to you in a second. Since Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were assassinated, is it true or false that the black community has been virtually leaderless?
Yes, to a certain degree. Absolutely. That fear.
What do you think we would be like if those two brothers were allowed to continue their mission?
Man, I think a lot would have changed. I think we would have really been in a better position. Back in 1964, and I talked about this before, they were going to infiltrate the black community. They wanted to split black men and women up, and that's really where a lot of this stuff comes from. A lot of black men and a lot of black families are torn apart because they got in between black men and women in the 1960s and split them up with the feminist movement, with certain welfare benefits, things like that. So we have to tackle those issues and rectify them before we can really move on.
And you know, it's cold what you're talking about. It reminds me of a sister who posted on my Facebook. Now, I urge everybody to join my Facebook, follow my Twitter, because I tweet out all of these questions all week long, and I allow my listeners and followers to answer some of these questions. And a sister was talking about what you're talking about right now. She said she grew up on the welfare system. When I posed the same Malcolm X, Martin Luther King question, she said she can remember a time when the welfare lady used to come through the neighborhood and you see everybody's daddy jumping out the back window.
Exactly.
Because they were about separating the black family,
Yes.
even in the media when we lost James on Good Times.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
that was a sad day in
let's,
history.
Let's go back. There was a show, I think, what was that show with Diane Carroll in the 1960s about a single mother, black single mother?
With James Earl Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a trash man, a garbage man.
Exactly. She was raising her kid by herself.
What was that, Claudine?
Claudine. It was Claudine. So they were already putting that seed out there.
Wow. Oh, here's a great question my producer just said to me.
Yes.
Do black leaders only show up when they have an opportunity to improve their own image?
For the most part, again, that's that whole deal broker mentality. A lot of we don't really have black leadership like we did back in the days. Let's go back to the 1960s. A black leader could be anybody. You understand? It wasn't a designated black leader. Muhammad Ali was a leader.
Right.
Dick Gregory was a leader.
Right.
Black people just took it upon themselves, especially black people who were in the spotlight, to use their celebrity to lead the community in a positive way. And we just don't do that now.
Wow. That's great. What I want to do is I want to take a couple of callers. We have an amazing guest. And when I bring her on, this isn't Dr. Yafa Bey yet. We still haven't connected with her. We have another amazing guest. You have to stay tuned till after my next break. When I bring her in, she's off the chain. Trust me, legendary sister, been writing books, been doing lectures, and been checking fools for many years.
Absolutely.
So when we come back from break, after I take a couple of these callers, I'm going to take a couple callers right now, and then I'm going to go to break. And when I come back, I'm going to introduce her. She's off the chain. For people who are just tuning in, black love versus self-hate. Why does it seem as if the black community is at war with itself? Call me right now, 877-210-6106. I'm going to callers. Tiffany from California. Chime in, sister.
Hi. I believe that the biggest problem is we don't have an understanding of ourselves. As we all know, during school, all we know about is Martin Luther King and maybe Malcolm X. And we don't shine on Harriet Tubman, Marcus Garvey, and so forth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
or even Averroes of Spain.
Absolutely.
I don't even want to go there, but continue, Tiffany.
Yeah, they don't discuss about Shark Island or anything.
Absolutely. A lot of folks don't know about Shark Island, where they practice what they were going to do to the Nazis on Shark Island off the coast of Namibia. They massacred all those black folks out there. We don't know about that.
And that was the first Holocaust.
Absolutely.
My homeboy Furpo Carr wrote a book on it. It's a cold situation. Go get Furpo Carr's book, The First Holocaust. It's a real situation. Thank you, Tiffany, for the call. Mike from Tennessee, the volunteer state. Volunteer your information, brother, please.
First, my condolences to Johnny Mack.
Absolutely.
Peace and love to him and his family. The problem with our youth, just to get directly to what struck me and make me call, was it's these templates we putting out there for our young people. You know, these young, impressionable minds. King Flex said there's a time to play, to laugh and joke, and there's a time to be serious. You know, and a lot of the music, with all the bravado that the hip-hop is putting out there. I love my hip-hop, don't get me wrong, because I listen too. I'm not going to say I don't. But a lot of bravado about gats and whatnot and disagreements, resolutions, it's giving the young kids a template that they don't need to have. These cats are telling stories about things they may or may not have gone through, maybe trying to say, listen, if you live like this, this is how it's going to go down. But that's not the message that's coming across. The kids are taking it as a template for conflict resolution. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
I'm all about freedom of speech, but what are you feeding us? Are you feeding us what's good for us? You know?
Right.
Keep
Absolutely.
doing what you've been doing. You're going to keep getting what you've been getting.
Wow. Man, I appreciate your call, Mike from Tennessee. That was great information that you gave us. That's what the show is about. Call me right now. Tell me what's on your heart. Tell me what's on your mind. Do you walk outside your door? Do you look around your neighborhood? Do you see children behaving in a way that you would say to yourself, wow, the future is in jeopardy? Call me right now at 877-2-106-106. Tonight's topic, black love versus self-hate. Why does it seem as if the black community is at war with itself? We're about to take a quick break. Callers, stay on the line. I'm going to get to you. We got a great guest coming on next. Don't tune away. We'll be back in 2 seconds. Peace. ZoWilliams, the voice of reason, back in the building. Great topic tonight. Great discussion. Great guests. They're still coming on. And great callers are lined up. Man, this is going to be great. Trust me. I got my brother here in studio, none other than King Flex, Tariq Nasheed, the author of The Elite Way.
Yes, sir.
That's my man in the building right now. We about to do it for real. And as promised, I have a sister online right now that is, I'm going to tell you, back in the 90s.
Yes.
She was kicking up some major dust. I mean, she was
shaking them up.
She was shaking them up in such a cold way. People, you know, she was coming at their neck.
Hard.
And if I'm not mistaken, she's a part of your documentary.
She's in my documentary. She's in Hidden Colors. She's all through there spitting hot fire.
A hot flame retardant liquefaction is coming out of her mouth. Trust me. There's no fumbleosity connected to the system.
Exactly.
So let me do this right now and introduce her. Now, let me just say, she's been writing for over 35 years, specializing in social issues that are affecting blacks in America. She is from Cincinnati by way of Atlanta and Philadelphia. Yes, she's from 3 places. Her 1990 blockbuster hit, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman, and she also has a sequel to that, The Black Woman's Guide, and Are You Still a Slave? Urban Survival, and How Not to Eat Pork, and How to Tell If Your Man is Gay or Bisexual. She's been on every popular television and radio talk show, and now she enters the voice of reason with ZoWilliams and has been interviewed by over 1,000 newspapers and magazines over the past 25 years. Sister is cold-blooded. If you've never heard this name before, I urge you to go YouTube her. I urge you to go to Amazon, go somewhere, find who this lady is, because she's a cold piece of work. Sister Shahrazad Ali, welcome to the Voice of Reason.
Well, thank you so much. What a wonderful introduction.
Woo, man, let me tell you, back in the day, let me just, I'm going to keep it 100.
Absolutely.
I'm going to keep it 100 for real. When I was 18, I dated my first white girl. I'm just gonna keep it real.
The first one, right?
She was actually the first and only. I'm just to be honest. She was the first and only. I was 18. But let me tell you why this story is so significant. Because the first and only white girl I ever dated. And the reason being, I was you know, like kind of like trying to figure out who I was.
Yeah.
You know, I was 17. I was trying to figure out who I was. And I had never had any girl just come up to me and just be aggressive and come at me like, yo, what's happening? What's popping?
Yeah.
But this white girl did that. Right?
Okay.
So I met her father. This dude was Spanish.
Okay.
Now, you know, the Spaniards of today don't like brothers.
Exactly.
Because we ruled them for over 700-800 years.
Yes, we did.
We were the Moors.
Yes, we did.
Right? So that's why they started eating pork in disdain of us. Because, you know, the Moors didn't have, you can't eat no pork here. We Muslim over here. You can't do that.
Exactly.
Right? But the dude showed racial tones toward me.
Okay.
Right? So I started, and I kind of thanked the white Spaniard dude, because I started, you know, saying, okay, I'm going to start studying my own shit.
Exactly.
And then this is when it went too far. I was putting my own Jerry curl in. And the white girl was helping me.
You were just cooning it up, right?
Man, let me tell you, I had on some buck dancing shoes, the whole nine, you know, serious. And I was looking in the mirror as I was putting the shit in my hair.
Okay.
And then I saw her behind me like, yeah. And I was like, oh, damn. I done fumbled at the 2-yard line.
You had an epiphany.
I had an epiphany in that moment.
With pink oil moisturizer in your hand.
For real. I had good Fred oil. Right? So basically, I started to study the Nation of Islam. And this is how I came in contact with Sister Shahrazad Ali's work.
Yes.
And it was a major epiphany. And I remember the white girl, when I started compiling the information, the white girl said to me, you can't be a Muslim. They hate white people. And that's when I said, Assalamu alaikum. It was a cold situation. It was a real deal. Sister Shahrazad, how can we heal the relationship between the black man and the black woman? We need your guidance today in 2011. Talk to me, sister.
Well, there are a lot of different solutions, and we get together nationwide all the time, you know, in person, in conferences, and on the radio, not on the TV anymore, but, you know, but on YouTube or wherever. And we talk about what our issues are. You know, we're all familiar with the problems now. And then we talk about what some of the solutions are sometimes. And that's where we don't want that part. We have the problem and we want it to go away by some kind of magic. But we don't want to really do the solutions that because it's difficult now, because we have been spoiled. We have been desensitized to murder, to rape, to all sorts of filth. The people who are around a lot of these things don't interfere, which means that, you know, we're all in agreement with it, apparently. And every time we have one of these conferences, if you all will notice, everybody stands up and want to testify. You can't sit people down, row by row, everybody. In fact, I can't go no place and nobody just ask me a question. Everybody got to preface that, you know, with 5 or 10, 15 minutes of testimony. And that's because we have not been debriefed as a people. Anybody who's been through the kind of trauma we've been through, decade after decade after decade, generation after generation, we need to be debriefed. So this attempt that we have of expressing ourselves is us trying to debrief ourselves. And we have internalized all of the hostility and the hate and the insults and the mockery and everything else that's been put toward us. We've internalized that. That's the man in the mirror we see.
Wow. And when we see that reflection, we can't help but hate it.
That's right. We hate that. We hate the people in our own family. We're not talking about a hate that just extends to the streets. We hate each other in the house. Wow, we hate each other in the church. We hate each other in the temple. Wherever we are, there's some of us who's feeling some hatred toward the other one, and we look for an opportunity to express that.
Wow. Let me ask you this really quickly, Sister Ali. How does interracial dating, you know, or marriage positively or negatively affect the overall self-esteem of the black community?
Well, the people that, black people who marry outside of our own nationality, we're not the race. We marry people of other races, but we are original, so we're not a race. But when we marry people outside of our nationality, we already have lost our self-esteem. It's not something, it don't affect our self-esteem. It's already destroyed. The fact that we could even want to marry and love and take care of and share with somebody who even resembles and looks like the people who have put us in this hell for 500 years, that's ridiculous in itself. And there's a new study out. We've always talked about that you black men you don't want us. Every black man we got that's an entertainer, if he's rich or in corporate America, whatever it is, he got a white wife, an Asian wife, or a Latino wife. Y'all don't want us no more. That's what it appears like. However, there's a new study that has just come out that say for the first time in history, black women are dating more white men than black men are dating white women.
So Tariq, have the sisters given up on the brothers?
I don't think so, but in the media right now, they're promoting this, and Sister Ali and I talked about this before, how we see all these shows about black in America, the black woman is too successful for the modern black man. We hear all that stuff, and that's just propaganda for sisters to go to white guys now.
Yes,
so
they have made them the new man that's available, because, black women, we want a man we can tell what to do. And so that looks like that's easier to deal with than to deal with one of you all who have sometimes your own idea.
So are you saying that black women have more power over white men? They can tell them what to do?
We've always had more power over white men.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Voice of Reason on Sirius XM Satellite Radio. That was Shahrazad Ali. If you're a white female and you disagree, call me at 877-2-106-106. That's the number to dial. It's very important that you guys call and chime in on tonight's topic, black love versus self-hate. Why does it seem as if the black community is at war with itself? Let me ask this question. Are the released convicts, celebrities, sports figures, and rappers more celebrated than black college graduates in our community? If so, why?
Okay, I was waiting on Sister Ali to hit that
one.
I
thought you were going to a break. Oh, okay.
Oh, no. We ain't finna break up none of this. No.
Of course.
Give it to me, sister.
Yes, of course, the entertainers and the people that represent nonsense and that give us a break from whatever the turmoil is that we're going through, whoever the entertainers are who are just distractors, they create a short distraction for us where we can, take our imagination and move into that. That's why we smile when we see entertainers all the time, or whatever they're doing. We're smiling because it releases some kind of hormone in us that make us feel better momentarily. We celebrate that because we don't have a great value for the educational process. We don't have a great value for it because our position has always been that, the schools are not teaching them anything anyway, and if they come out of there, they just gonna go someplace and try to be white. And they're not teaching our children. The whole thing, it starts at the elementary stage, our disdain for the educational process in America. However, our children only spend 9% of their time in school. That other 91% is spent at home with us, the black mothers, the caregivers, the fathers, the grandmothers, the grandfathers, and whoever else has them.
Also, and let me build on that, historically in America, educated black men have always been seen as a threat.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
And the fact that every time y'all get an education, you got to go after white man for a job anyway.
Absolutely.
And that hasn't helped the situation, especially now.
Absolutely. We still remember those pictures of black kids trying to go to school back in the 50s and 60s and whites throwing rocks at them.
I hated it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And we have a couple of those photos in the film. And black folks just figured out, hey, it's just easier to play basketball rap because that's non-threatening.
Right.
So
and
that's what
we've
we've become.
Been able to run, jump, and hop, and that's why they're called the owners. Who do you think they own?
Ooh, and you know what? Let me just say that. Let me chime in on this because this is excellent. Dwayne Wade, during the I'm taking my talents to South Bay and all of that stuff. Dwayne Wade was talking about the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know how the owner came out against LeBron James. Yeah. And Dwayne Wade, he said something, I might be taking it out of context, but he said something that just sounded so coonerific to me. The dude said, I'm glad my owner ain't like that.
Oh,
And I thought to myself, like,
wow.
what kind of slave monkey
Oh my goodness.
Now,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that that's the context in which he meant it in, but that's how I looked at it. And let me go deeper, because Sister Ali touched on something that was very, very meaningful. The entertainer.
Yeah,
Remember back in the slavery days, that's all they seen us as anyway.
absolutely.
Chicken George, Fiddler, you get over and you play the fiddle. That's why we call you Fiddler.
Exactly.
Right? We were always to come sing a dance jig for me or sing for me or
Well,
whatever.
they gave us an identity. They
Exactly.
took the one we had, and then they gave us one, and it has persisted up to today. And of course, us being so creative, we have embellished it and expanded on it until
yes.
now we just complete back to buffoonery and just being ridiculous and silly to each other
And let me-
shallow.
Let
and
me
just
build
the
on
entire
that.
thing.
The first form of American entertainment that was indicative to America were minstrel shows.
Go deep.
People don't know that. The stage plays, all that came from Europe, but minstrel shows were purely American entertainment. It started in America and it spread out to other places. So America was built on coonery,
Go deeper.
on minstrelry.
And the minstrel dude,
were
they were
white.
white.
They were white.
And
they were white at first.
They even taught us the broken English.
Exactly.
That
'cause
was
we
white
spoke,
people.
We spoke elaborate languages when blacks came over here.
Absolutely.
And they split all that up.
And this goes back to Sister Ali's point. I just believe that the entertainer has reduced himself today to what the court jester was.
Absolutely.
Oh,
people,
right,
and,
yeah.
and people fail to realize a court jester was just entertainment for the monarch, the ruler of that time.
Well,
you
let's
understand?
deal with
You're my
that.
entertainment.
Look
And
at
a lot
the
of people,
impact.
let me just say this,
go on.
Sister Ali, and then I'll give you the floor again. A lot of people forget. Black people look at entertainment as a way out, as a way to be important, as a way to say I've arrived.
Absolutely.
Rich white people and rich people who run the world look at entertainment for what it is. Entertainment.
Exactly.
You are here to entertain me. As in the Sultan of Brunei, when he reached out to Janet Jackson, here's some money, you come perform for me privately.
Exactly. And many entertainers run over there to get that money from that dude.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You feel me? This is a real situation. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Voice of Reason, and tonight's topic, again, we have none other than famed author, Sister Shahrazad Ali, and my homeboy, King Flex, Tariq Nasheed.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what it is.
Yes,
Black
sir.
love versus self-hate is what we're talking about tonight. Get to your phone lines. I'm coming to callers right now. 877-2-106-106 is the number to dial. Kevin from the Shy. It's time to build, homie.
What's going on, guys?
What up, man?
Hey, how's it going, man? I want to say peace and love to Johnny Mac, man. We kind of got off topic a little bit as far as what I wanted to say to the people, but I want to say peace and love to Johnny Mac. You have a family in Chicago that pray for you and love you, and we wish you nothing but the best. You know what I'm saying? Through this tragic situation, it's something I can't even wrap my mind around happening. But I listen and he makes me laugh. He's entertainment. Everything about what happens. It brings a closer bond to me. So I really want to let everybody know in the Foxxhole that my thoughts and prayers for my family to you guys' family is out to Johnny Mac and his. So
We appreciate that, Kev. We appreciate it. Thanks for the call. I got to move. Ash from California. It's your time to chime. Let's work it.
Hey, yeah, man. Want to send condolences out to Johnny Mac and his family. Yeah, I'm listening to you guys talk, and I feel like society as a whole, not just black people, not just white people, I feel like society as a whole, man, lost respect for each other. I mean, everybody is human. First off, foremost, everybody breathes air. You bleed blood. You know what I'm saying? So, to go at each other, in such incessant ways, man, it's not fruitful.
Right.
You're not going to come up with anything positive in any way, regardless whether you're black, white, like I said, man. I mean, and to say right there, and I mean, just within the black community in itself, I mean, all we're doing is perpetuating the hate that we learned through generations back before us, through our predecessors. What was taught to us is coming on down, And it's not just black society. I mean, you look at white society now, you look at it generally, the globe. I mean, you know, what can we say about, you know, black on black hate in Africa, you know, where it's about tribe, not so much skin color, but it's about tribe.
Right.
You know?
That's true.
You know, so the thing is, we have lost a basic sense of respect for other human beings. And that's what I think it boils down to, man. I mean, everything else stems from that. I mean,
Ash, man, you dropping some major information here, brother. I appreciate it. We got to get to some other callers, but man, everything you said was on deck and right on point. I appreciate it. William from Texas, you're in the building. I need to talk to you. What's up? William, are you there?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's
sorry
all right.
about that.
Let's go, man. Let's go. We got to do this, homie. Let's talk.
Yeah, sorry about that there, Zoe, man. I'm glad to be on your show there. I'm glad you dedicated this to Johnny back. My heart goes out to him, man. I'm sorry to hear what happened. You turned us down here. Yeah, I'm in my truck. I'm riding through Texas here. I'm a truck driver. I used to be a counselor. And it seems like a lot of this crime that's going on between black people, it's generally what I'm hearing is it's a lack of education. Not just ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, but where they come from. A lot of stuff with Martin Luther King tried to get through to a lot of people. It wasn't just about breaking black people free. It was actually bringing people together. So, you know, we are going to go back to the racial acts and the racial violence. And it's good for once, especially black young folks to know about that, but how we actually overcome that, you know, to drop that racial violence, you know, to move on because of racial violence. Look what happened to a good man that hasn't, you know, hurt anybody.
Right.
You know,
right.
And
that's a good point.
And to perpetuate it, to, you know, to remember it, you know, saying, you know, white people this and that. Yeah, but look at the channels that we have now. Entertainment, education, you know, self-preservation, you know, anything to feed the gray matter to grow. And because they don't have that to grow, they are stunted.
True. I appreciate the call, man. Thank you for that information. Again, our callers are on point.
Absolutely.
Our callers are on point on this topic, and we have so many other guests coming on. We got so much more information. I got to take a quick break. Again, I'm sitting here with Brother King Flex, Tariq Nasheed, and my sister. I am honored to have her on, Shahrazad Ali, in the building. We're about to take a quick break, and I'll be back in 2.2. Ladies and gentlemen, ZoWilliams, the voice of reason, back in the building. Black love versus self-hate. Get to your phone lines. I'm calling you to action. 877-210-6106. That's the number to dial. 877-210-6106. I'm here with none other than King Flex, Tariq Nasheed.
Yes, sir.
Author of The Elite Way. Great book. I've read it a couple of times. Homeboy's a cold piece of work. You got to go out and represent his situation.
Absolutely.
The new movie documentary, what is it called?
It's called Hidden Colors.
Wow, you got to go support him.
Go see it. It's coming out next weekend.
Let's not talk about it. Let's be about it, people.
Absolutely.
And of course, none other than Shahrazad Ali. I'm so happy and pleased and honored to have this sister on. She is a treasure to the black community because whether you agree or disagree with her, she does have a wealth of knowledge that can serve as a template for what to do or what not to do.
Absolutely.
And that's why we got to respect whatever it is she got to say on the issue. Now, let me read this. The leading cause of death among black males ages 18 to 24 is homicide by other black men. That's something we got to turn around.
Absolutely.
When a black man kills another black man, when a black person kills another black person, that is to me a symbol of self-hate, especially when it's senseless, when it's no reason, when it's for a flag or a color or a gang or a turf or an idea.
How do we get the love back? One of the ways that I have started working with the schools is to bring marriage as a subject into the school system. See, our people are very separated from the commitment of marriage. Our young boys grow up, they don't want to get married. The girls don't think it's necessary. The proms have been taken so out of context and so ridiculous, they think they got married once they do the prom. Because they wear the clothes, they get the limo, they go to hotels these days. So
they get the sex
go
afterwards.
Through that entire marriage. They need to teach about the marriage laws, what that commitment. They need to take the children through this to put it back into them and to get them to understand that you are to.
Absolutely.
Now, the other thing I'm trying to get them to do is just like when a little girl is small, give her a ball, give the boy a ball. And then give the girl a doll baby, and then give the boy a doll baby. Because one of the problems we have is that our men don't know how to be fathers. They haven't had any contact with a baby. They don't feel anything about that. So they grow up and have a baby, and the baby cry. They think you punched the baby in the face.
But
the baby interrupt the VCR game, the video game. They knock the baby down, stomp it. So our boys need to get in contact with the feelings as a father.
Okay,
and if that comes through play
let me
acting
ask
like
you
everything
this.
else.
So let me ask you this. What about the people who might say if you give a doll to a baby boy or a little boy, it might turn him gay
no,
or
if
homosexual?
he gonna turn anyway. We already determined that. We've said everything so far. It was genetic. We said it was the food. It was in the water. So it ain't gonna be in the doll. Because
wow,
the doll
it ain't
is
in the
going
doll.
to represent his son. The doll is going to represent his son or his daughter. And
Wow.
he's got to learn something about that before he gets to be a grown man and stomp the baby.
Wow, that's why Shahrazad Ali is on the show.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, she's a cold piece of work. She wrote the book called Are You Still a Slave? Somebody better go find it and see what's happening. Now, my next guest is in the building. When I tell you, dude, is heavy. Myself, Shahrazad Ali, Tariq Nasheed, and this brother we're about to crescendo. Now, let me introduce this brother. Brother is cold. His name is Booker Coleman Jr. When I hear about this brother, I'm hearing that he's so cold. He's a teacher, consultant, administrator, staff developer, and curriculum writer. It's hard for me to pronounce, his name, Kaba Hiawatha. Yes, yeah. I thought, I got it.
You got it.
Kaba Hiawatha has been an educator since October 6th, 1979. He married first, 1981. I don't want to go into all of that. I just want to go into the cold science that the brother got.
Yes.
And here right now. Booker T, come in, brother. Let me talk to you. Booker T. Coleman Jr. Let me talk to you right now. Do you have a website that people can go to right now to research your information?
Brother, I have a website, I have an email. KAMENE at AOL.com.
Shackles off. Let's take this conversation to the next level. All right? This is what I want to know. Because we know Pythagoras and all of them fools stole the concept of knowledge of self off the walls of Egypt. Mm-hmm. We know that. We know Greeks took our philosophy from the mystery schools and turned it into Greek philosophy. We know this, right? My point is, how do we make to black people again? Because knowledge of self, culture, to me, that's the social game rules. That teaches you how to behave and interact with one another.
Absolutely.
And if you got a people who are devoid or bereft of that, how are we to interact and move forward as a people? That's what I need to know.
Well, my thing. First, may I thank you, Brother Williams, for inviting me on your program.
Absolutely, brother. Let's get active.
I thank everyone for making this possible. I send my regards out to all those, that are interested in. It's important for us to understand when we look at the work. One of the things that I've looked at, my teacher from a very young age was Professor John Henrik Clarke.
Yes.
And one of the things that Professor John Henrik Clarke spoke to us about consistently and constantly is that to be successful, you must have a sense of self-concept. Mm. He also said that if the education you are receiving is not about power, it's not about anything at all. Everything that we learn or become conscious of, we should somehow be able to empower ourselves with that information and do something with it. It's more than just understanding ancient Kemet, or Egypt as it's called. It's more than just understanding Imhotep, an African who built the first stone step pyramid. If our children don't understand that the same gene, the same consciousness that was in Imhotep, a multi-genius for his time, is not within us, for us to be able to build our own buildings, to be able to use the engineering and the mathematics that he used, not in the sense of an ancient Egypt 5,000-6,000 years ago, but to apply this 21st century that we are in, to superimpose our consciousness over universal principles called within Kemet Ma'at. We have to understand that. When you look at the work of someone like Dr. Naim Akbar, who wrote a book called Know Thyself, he said there are three things that you have to look at as it relates to knowing self. There are things you have to do. You first have to deconstruct, then you must reconstruct, and then you construct. You deconstruct white supremacy.
Wow.
You reconstruct African history.
Mm-hmm.
And with that understanding, you then construct the life that you need to leave, and for your community and for those that are yet unborn. All this information, if we can't do something with it, if we cannot empower ourselves to begin to hire ourselves, to begin to develop our own jobs. Brilliant psychiatrist Dr. Amos Wilson once said there are two things that an organization should be able to do, and that is to meet their people's needs and solve their people's problems.
Mm.
And if we as a people cannot hire our own children in the summertime, if we can't hire our own community to work with us and for us, why should they respect us? We got to do for self.
Oh, now there's a new and refreshing idea.
Go ahead, Shahrazad. Add on, please. Yes. That's why you're here. This is a discussion. 877-210-6106 is the number to dial. Shahrazad, talk to me.
I have been a follower of the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, not anybody else, but what he taught and the demonstrations he showed us for 40 years or more, okay? And he has used that terminology, pool your resources, do for self. Love self first. Do for self and kind. The white man ain't gonna be able to hire himself. He's not gonna be able to hire you. Go to the earth. Grow some food. Protect your women. Pull your dress down. Stand up straight. Take off the sneakers. Put on flat shoes. I mean, he's been telling us all of these things. And here we are now, 75 or more years later, saying the same things and haven't made a move to do any of it.
But let me ask this really quickly. Why? Listen.
Dead. Mentally dead. Ooh. Blind, deaf, and dumb to the knowledge of self, God, and the devil.
877-210-6106 is the number to dial. How can the dead be resurrected?
Yes, sir. I believe in the resurrection. Absolutely. You have brothers like yourself, Brother Tariq and myself. We are proof of the resurrection because we understand the trick and are not being victimized by it. So okay. I believe in it. But I got a 10-year-old son that also know the truth.
Wow.
You know,
let me ask this. Let me ask everybody on my panel this, and all my callers, I'm coming to you. True or false? The crabs in the barrel mentality syndrome, right? Does that
it was all taught to us because.
But wait. Let me ask the question, Shahrazad. Hold on, sister. Let me ask the question. Right? This crabs in the barrel, this Willie Lynch idea. Does that affect every race or just the black race?
Well, if you're in a barrel, because a barrel is not a natural habitat for a crab.
Anyway.
Right. So you're not going to function correctly anyway. This is not our natural habitat. White supremacy is not our natural habitat. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to function correctly in that.
Right.
So we have to get up out that barrel.
But maybe the crabs in a barrel mentality, and everybody can chime in, maybe that crabs in a barrel mentality is a byproduct of a corporate society. Corporate America teaches dog eat dog. It's a competitive world. Whoever could go out and get it, gets it. And whoever can't gets stepped on. Maybe crabs in a barrel is endemic or symptomatic in white societies as well.
That's that European mentality.
I'm just asking. That's where we learned everything.
Exactly.
So my question is, it appears to me that outward things, material things, the accumulation of things has more value than the development of the self inwardly than outward. What do you think of that, Booker T?
There's no question the society that we're living in is aiming towards that. But the bottom line is that within us is the DNA structure that allows us to understand something far better. And until we become conscious of this understanding, I believe we're all born with everything that has ever been known, everything that is known, and everything that will ever be known. Mm-hmm. It's like if we turned off all the lights in the room or the place where we were, and all of a sudden we found the light switch. And when we turned on the light switch, we saw the chairs, the tables, the paintings on the walls, the people in the room. Mm-hmm. The question is, did all those things appear in a room when you turned the light on? Or
were they already there?
That's right.
Yeah,
and your light wasn't on.
Well, what do you do when you can't find the switch?
Well, then that's the job of...
That's where we are.
I take that responsibility when I'm with our children. That's my responsibility to facilitate, not to turn the light on for them, because that means nothing. They have to find the light switch, want to turn the light on, and then recognize what's in the room. We can only, as facilitators, which I think an educator is, we are only facilitators of thoughts.
Yes,
because early childhood is my area. That's what my license is in.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
I wanted to be with kindergarten. I cannot express to you how many of the young brothers and sisters in South Central Bronx would come up and say, can I call you Daddy? I wish you were my daddy.
Yeah, and you know what's cold? You know what's cold, brother Booker T? Let me tell you what's cold, Brother Coleman. That has happened to me many times as I was mentoring at this middle school. It's not really a middle school. It's elementary all the way to high school.
Okay.
And it's a school out here in L.A. called Foxxhole. It's Foxxhole High School. It's right there on Western and Exposition. And I was mentoring there, and I can't tell you how many mamas would say, hey, man, my son don't do nothing but talk about you when he come home.
Yeah. God is a man.
It was like, you're the only male figure he got. And these women would tell me, dude, if you need to, take him behind the bungalow and wear his ass out if you have to. Because that's the only guidance and direction that this dude is getting. And I'm a firm believer in this. Every household belief is a currency. And if you have a belief of scarcity, of lack, of fear, of doubt, these are the type of investments you are now making in your children.
Absolutely.
And those accounts are going to mature one day. I believe that. And if we do not change what we think about each other, if you're in a household and a mama is telling a son, you ain't shit and you just like your daddy, or if you're in a household where a mother is not allowing a father to see his child, or if you're in a household where there is a father who is mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and physically abusive to everybody in the household, you have to understand that that is a currency that you are now investing in young minds. And it's about respect. Respect should be the religion of our people.
Absolutely.
I believe that.
Well, we have so many definitions now, brother, of respect.
Let us go deep.
Respect to some of our people, or if you step on my shoes, you have disrespected me, or if you recognize I got on a nice outfit, you have respected me. Just like we can't agree on the history, we can't agree on those definitions anymore, because everything that used to be taboo is now popular.
Ooh, go deeper. What do you mean? Give me 2 examples of what was once taboo that is now accepted.
Well, it used to be taboo that women would bring strange men into their house and then leave their daughters around them. It used to be taboo that we would let our little girls go out of the house in short clothes with all of their behind and breasts out, even at the ages of 9 and 10. It used to be taboo that we would sit up in the house with little children and put on X-rated videos. It used to be taboo that we would sit up and drink and cut drugs and use drugs in front of our children. All of those things used to be taboo. They're now common.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And what she speaks on is the truth. You guys saw that on World Star Hip Hop when the couple was having sex and then the little girl came in and caught them having sex, and then the daddy sat the little girl down and filmed a video and
explaining the sex.
Explaining the sex to her. And then there's another case where a dude just went to jail down south for getting his 3-year-old son a tattoo.
What?
Oh yeah, the niggerosity is at full-fledged. It's in full bore.
And if you look at YouTube now, there's black folks fighting at Denny's and IHOP every single damn night right now. It's
absolutely.
like
The niggerosity is on flames right now.
You know,
exactly.
That other book that you mentioned, though, that I have, Are You Still a Slave?
Yes,
that's a test book that lets you take 2 tests to determine how much of a slave are you still acting like even without a slave master.
Ooh. You mean to tell me now your slavedom, your niggerdom is on autopilot?
Yeah, the book comes in plastic. You can't open it because you'll run out of the store. So, it's in plastic. You take it home, and in the privacy of your own home, you take this test, and it gives you the grading scale and show you the things you're doing that's based in slavery. How many of our decisions come from that? How are the things we say and do and dress and eat, everything? Just how many things are we still doing that come out of slavery? One of the things, and it's very popular out there where y'all are, is that when men and brothers and sisters get married, they might spend $50, $75, $200,000 on the wedding and then jump the broom. That came out of slavery. That ain't nothing for us to be proud of.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are enjoying this show like I am, please call me right now. Listen, we're talking about black love versus self-hate. Why does it seem as if the black community is at war with itself? Man, this is an important show. Call me right now. We're about to take a couple of callers, and then we're going to go to break, but my guests are incredible. None other than Sister Shahrazad Ali in the building. Are You Still a Slave is the book she wrote. You better go find it. It's wrapped in plastic. Don't open it until you leave. Also, we've got my brother, Tariq Nasheed, King indeed. Flex, author of The Elite Way. And we have another brother on, Booker T. Coleman Jr. This is an educator out of Bronx, New York. Brother is cold. We're having a great time. Let me go to the callers. Corporate brother from Maryland. Talk to me.
Hey, Zoe, you know what? The reason why I believe that there is a lot of coonery, buffoonery, hatred in our communities is because it gets major play in our communities and on TV. And also, I wanted to speak to black leadership. If any black leader considers himself a black leader and no one is following them, then all they're doing is taking a long walk. Because, you know what I'm saying, what are you leading our people to? What are you putting inside their minds in terms of health, education, and confidence? That's a part of education, trying to learn self-confidence for yourself. That's all I wanted to say, Zoe.
Thank you. Appreciate the call. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the voice of reason, ZoWilliams. We're about to come back, and we're going to go straight to the phone lines. Everybody, get ready. 877-2-106-106. That's the number to dial. Black love versus self-hate. I'll be back.
They say we N-I-double-G-E-R, we are much more. Still we choose to ignore the obvious. Man, this history don't acknowledge us. We were scholars long before colleges. They say
that
we
is the truth.
N-I-double-G-E-R.
Nas, I think he told the truth right there.
Yeah.
Black love versus self-hate is our topic tonight. You know the voice of reason. We keep it on the edge. We trying to change the world. I got a question for the world. We go on the call as soon as I ask this question. Is the keep it real hood mentality the new field or house nigga? Which one is it? Is keeping it real hood?
Man, keeping it real is all about attention. Right now, man, in the black community, we're like attention whoring too much right now. Come on. Everything is all about look at me. We've been deprived for so long. We've been told what we can't do, where we cannot go. So now that we feel like we do have access to certain things, we do things, we overboard with it.
Right.
Everything, our hair has to be different colors. Right. Our jeans has to be extra skinny and tight. Our car has to have Dora the Explorer and Ronald McDonald rims on it. Everything has to be super duper extra with us right now.
Well, because when you're empty on the inside, all you have is the outside. So when I hear Fabulous and all these rappers and whoever talk about look at my rims and this is what attracted her and my necklace is gleaming and that attracted her and my watch, that means you empty.
Exactly.
You're empty. Right. You're a vessel with nothing in it.
And we think we are what we own.
Woo! Shahrazad Ali in the building. Let me just say this. My friend Kool Mo D did a record with KRS-One many years ago, Self-Destruction. And one of the lines he said, back in the 60s, our brothers and sisters were hanged. How could you gangbang? I never ever ran from the Ku Klux Klan, and I shouldn't have to run from a black man. I mean, this is when hip-hop had meaning and substance and value. Now it's bitches, money, clothes, hoes. I mean, there's no self-love in the music. And
you know, when they, at that time, when they wrote that, there was a certain consciousness in hip hop. But they infiltrated that. Y'all remember back then when brothers were conscious and when they were challenging white supremacy, even NWA was like F the police.
They hurried up and took them on, all of them.
Man, they had Congress after these dudes.
Right.
They was putting up censorship laws all over the place.
Well, and let me correct that. It's not that conscious rap is dead. It just doesn't have the marketing and promotion momentum behind it. Right. I mean, I love Lupe Fiasco's new joint.
Absolutely.
With all black everything. And I'm not saying everything gotta be all black. What I'm saying is, black people have to reconnect to who and what we were so that we can move forward. I've never seen such a backwards people in the sense that we've got to get all of the information that was ripped and torn away from us so we can get over that information.
The only way we're going to get black love back into the black community is to get the black man and black woman back in agreement and together. It has to come from the mother. If we can't reach the mother that birthed the babies, then we just all spinning our wheels and just talking. Whatever happened in, like the brother said, whatever happened in Egypt 6,000 years ago, it don't have no bearing on us. If the mother don't teach it, and the mother will not teach her baby anything she doesn't agree with.
Wow. Booker T. Coleman.
Yes, brother.
What cultures, what knowledge should we know about? Why is the Egyptian mystery school so important? Why is Timbuktu so important? Why is Mali so important? Why are the Moors so important? What is the historical gap that is missing that contains not only self-knowledge, but self-esteem and self-worth?
Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop, Senegalese scholar, wrote in his last book, one of the most powerful books, should be in all of our libraries. It's entitled, or it's titled, Civilizational Barbarism. He has an essay in there where he talks about why cultural identity. And he says that there are three things that someone will take from you when they want to oppress you. They'll take your history, they take your language, and they take away your psychological factor. Psychological factor is like your ceremonies, your rituals, the things that you do that are important to you through your own cultural common sense. When someone takes away your history, you know, the concept is like a slingshot. Consciousness is like the thing that you put in the slingshot and you pull back. The further back you pull that slingshot, the further you propel yourself into the future. When they took the history, they took the ability to know from whence we came as a people. When they stopped teaching it, when you look at the curriculum books that are out there today, and one of my responsibilities was to look at the curriculums that are out there in all of the subject areas from pre-K through 12th grade. And everything that has ever happened that is very powerful and good, your history books will tell you that people of European descent did it, whether it be science or mathematics, language arts, whatever social studies, everything comes out of their greatness. What they don't tell you is the fact that these individuals, the Greeks, there's no such thing as Greeks. Greeks don't exist.
Go deeper. Go deeper. We need to know this.
Greeks
Go deeper.
Greeks are a group of northern Eurasians that when the Ice Age ended, give or take about 6,000 or 7,000 years ago, Eurasians continued coming over, who we call Eurasians, kept coming over, and they began to inhabit what we call the Mediterranean basin. When they got there, they were meeting Cushites, Africans that had already been there for thousands of years and had developed a culture and a civilization.
Booker T, do me this. Define Cushite. I know what it means,
Cushite.
But the listener need to know.
Well, we have to understand about a Cushite. Even if you want to look at it, a Cashite, because we now know through Medu-Neter that it was a A, it was a vulture, not a U, but it was a cash. Basically, who we're talking about are a people that came up out of first of all life started in Africa. Every human being, no matter what your background is, you are an African. You were born within a region that we today would call through the nations Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, the eastern fringe of Congo, and probably deep into central, going up into the northern fringe of what we today call southern Africa, called the Great Lakes region. Africans moved along the Happy Valley. which is the Nile Valley, the Nile River. Africans called this river Hapi, H-A-P-I. They didn't call it Nile. They called it Hapi. They moved up, and as they moved up over millions of years, they brought a civilization and a culture, a technology, a way of living, concept of God. They are going to occupy what we today call the parts of Ethiopia. I'm talking about the technological Africans, the ones that brought civilization as we know it today to this area. You're dealing with people in the northern part of Ethiopia, Somalia, going into what we today call Sudan, but in the ancient world was called Nubia, and is going to go into the southern parts of what we today call Egypt or Kemet.
And
they're going to bring civilization.
And one second, because there's so much information here. Let's try to itemize some of it. Let's break down the term Nubia, Ethiopia, and Kemet by definition.
Okay, now Ethiopia, with the ancient name for Ethiopia is called Abyssinia. Mm-hmm. Ethiopia comes from peoples coming into Africa, observing the people that lived there, and they said they were burnt faces, and they called them Aethiops.
And isn't that the secret name of Zeus? Ethiops,
well,
the black one.
Well, actually, that's the name for Aesop, the fable teller.
Yes, go deeper.
Okay, and so, the Greeks, going back to the Cushites, are Africans that are going to sweep across the Eastern world. They are going to be the original Iraqis, the original Afghanis. These are going to be the Elamites, the Sumerians. They're going to move into the Median area we today call Iran. They're going to go across to Afghanistan, into India. They are going to be the first dynasty of China, the Shang dynasty, the Tang. These are African people going to do this. They're going to go into the East. They're going to inhabit South Korea. These Cushites, these Africans are going to bring South Koreans onto the island to their east, and that's who the Japanese are.
And let me just add on to what the brother said. This isn't just malarkey.
Oh no.
This isn't some guy who, just made up some stuff. Recently there was research done by a Chinese researcher. Now, because of the hoopla over the Peking man that they found. And Chinese are very competitive people, and it's okay. I love them. They are people, right? But this brother went out.
I don't love them.
I love them. Anyway, but the brother went out to disprove. He was basically saying not everybody came from Africa. He wanted to disprove that. So, because they thought the Peking man was older than Lucy or the Australopithecus that was found in Kenya, right? Mm-hmm. He wanted to disprove that. So what he did was he went and did DNA samples from all over China. Mm-hmm. And when the information came back, everybody in China is African. It just shut his whole situation down. And this is the thing that people need to understand. You get caught up in nationalism and think that your nationality is an ethnicity.
Absolutely.
Well, no, it's two different things, homie. And most of y'all folk got the black gene up in you.
All up in there.
And just as the brother Booker T was explaining, even Ivan Van Sertima talked about the pink man who came up out of Africa. So let's not forget the albino, which is at the end of the genetic chain. He's still black. He's still African. It's just that he don't have melanin.
Absolutely.
You feel what I'm saying? So listen, we all one family, but what we got to do as black people is stop looking for white validation.
Exactly.
That's where the problem is. We've got to start appreciate. I keep telling you, respect, mutual appreciation has to become dogmatic in our mind. What's dogmatic in our mind right now is materialism, selfishness, avarice, and competition. Am I lying? Somebody on my panel tell me if I'm telling the truth.
And we wait on other people again to educate us, to validate us. That's basically what we're waiting on. This is why we sit around saying, well, they keep misrepresenting us. They haven't done anything but misrepresent us. They're going to keep misrepresenting us.
Right. When are we going to represent ourselves?
Exactly.
Shahrazad, when are we going to represent ourselves, sister?
When we are forced to. And that force is coming. The messenger called it force unity. It is coming because a lot of the life that we have known here as ex-slaves and coming up through Jim Crow and the civil rights and the peaking of whatever our success was going to be here in this country is now being affected by the shortage of money, the high price of gas, the cutting off of food stamps, the ending of Section 8. It's a lot of things. See, black men and black women not getting along is a luxury, and certain things have to be in place for you not to get along.
Well, listen to me. Come with that information, sister.
That luxury is getting ready to end, and more of us are gonna find we can get along than we ever thought we could.
We gonna figure it out, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna be able to live together. We're gonna be joining hands, singing "Kumbaya." Oh yeah, you know, I wish I was in the land of Dixie. Oh, things are going to change because of the not having work. You know, white people can cut off the drugs when they get ready. That's going to end them jobs. All of whatever the jobs we have had.
But see, to me,
praying to the great job God to give us, they go in.
But Shahrazad and Brother Booker T and Tariq, what about the youth who don't give a damn, a flying whatever about the conversation we're having right now? And to me, they are the most valuable minds. They are the ones we should be trying to cultivate right now. There are a lot of kids who would listen to this show and be like, what in the Feast of Samhain are these fools talking about? This ain't interesting. I don't give a damn. How do we reach them? How do we connect?
That's for Dr. Coleman.
As the mother, let me say this. All life has come from my womb. And some of it we have decided is not worthy of surviving. And I know that sounds cold, but everybody's not going to be saved. We've never had a civilization as evil as this where everybody got saved. Maybe they have a use. Maybe God has a need for them in the coming worst times that are going to be shortly in this country. Maybe that's what their use will be. Maybe they will be death's angels. Maybe they will be the ones who will have to go and be sacrificed. I don't understand yet. I don't know yet how that's going to work. None of us do. However, everything is not going to survive. You're going to have to save that which wants to be saved and is willing to try to be saved. But the time is up. We don't have enough time anymore to try to force anybody who's already grown to learn something.
Coleman, you're the educator. How do we get these young, impressionable minds to see that, you know, Chris Brown talking about a picture of his penis in his latest song and take a picture of it, and Lil Wayne talking about, you know, all his baby mamas, and 50 Cent, you know, have a baby by me, baby, be a millionaire. And how do we get the young, impressionable minds to see that this isn't just music, but it is a philosophy that is now being embedded? This philosophy teaches our youth how to engage each other. How do we get those impressionable minds to see that this is not valuable content?
Well, I have to say, brother, and to my sister Shahrazad Ali, I've seen many great things happen. And I think that I can vouch for the fact that I bear witness to our young people. They are ready. I am extremely disappointed in many of the elders who did not do their job back in the day.
Talk about the gap. Tell
me
how.
My great challenge comes from those young people, myself as a cub of the Black Panther Party here in New York City. I was a cub. I was a young brother looking up to the young brothers and sisters that were part of the party. And it was in the meetings at the Black Panther Party that I heard the first key Swahili words. It was the first time I heard brothers and sisters speaking to each other in a way. I mean, I'm speaking outside of my own family. I'm speaking in terms of the street where I grew up in New York City, in Manhattan. I believe that our young people are ready. I don't believe in chaos. Chaos doesn't exist. The Creator created our world and our universe too perfect to create chaos.
But is not chaos an extension of perfection?
Chaos is really pre-existing order and arrangement.
Right. We may not understand the arrangement.
That's right. And that's
when we do understand the arrangement, we call it order. But when we don't understand the arrangement, we call it chaos.
Exactly.
But it's still an order in and of itself, correct?
It's on its way to being ordered. I fundamentally believe, brother, if you go back into Kemet and you read, you go back to Abu Simbel, you look at the walls of
of the Temple of Ramses and you read the Battle of Kadesh, it speaks of a time when the sun would rise in Egypt for the last time. It would rise in the east and set in the west. And it would not rise for many, many years until by miracle it would rise in the west, return to the east, and return the cycle of life back together again. I believe that sun that rose in the east for the last time and set in the west was us.
Wow.
I believe that we, as an African people, you have Australopithecus robustus. We're talking about the 6 different forms of human you were speaking earlier.
Right.
We are Homo sapiens sapiens.
Right.
You have Australopithecus robustus, which is the earliest form of human. This is Dank Nash, or who they called Lucy. You have Australopithecus gracile, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, and Homo
let's break them all.
sapiens.
Let's break them all down.
Okay, these are 6 forms of
Lucy.
human beings.
Let's start with Lucy. Lucy is Australopithecus, right?
That Australopithecus robustus, robust, very thick human
But
in Africa.
Australopithecus means southern ape, correct?
In their
Because Pithecus is ape and Australo is southern.
Yes, southern, no doubt about Australo. Ape is something that we have to be concerned about, but that's a whole nother subject altogether.
Right.
But you have robust, and then you have Australopithecus gracile, which is more of a graceful human who has lost its thickness of its morphology, of its bone structure.
Right.
You then have the human of ability that starts to use tools.
Homo habilis, the tool maker.
Exactly, the tool maker. Now, the reason why we know life started in Africa, there's really no discussion. The reason why we know that life started in Africa is that those 3 forms of human can only be found in Africa, and there are millions of years that separate habilis from erectus.
Right. The missing link gap.
That is the missing link really goes back to Australopithecus, which is the link that we have a common error with the ape. Bone for bone, muscle for muscle. There is no significant difference between the ape or the gorilla and the human, except for the part of the brain that's known as the locus coeruleus.
Ah, yes. Well, a lot of people were concerned about that. They were concerned about the knee.
From a scientific perspective. Because this is not about emotion. This is about science. And these 6 forms of human beings went through a transformation, and only a select few, going back to what Sister Ali had said earlier, only a select few of each group was see, it's not the strongest that survive. And it is not the survival of the fittest. The ones that survive are the ones that can adapt to new conditions.
Adaptability, right. But again, let me just say, how is this important to a young mind?
It's important to a young mind fundamentally, but you got to get to them, as Sister said, as mother, as father, as a child, to build within them an understanding. In other words, to give children a Black Studies program in college, having denied them that all throughout their career, is equivalent to giving a marathon runner a glass of water in the 25th mile when they're going to complete it in 26. You have got to build.
That's
you
right.
got to start giving that water out in the 2nd and the 5th and the
in the cradle.
That's it. Pre-womb to post-womb. I used to read to my children when they were in my queen's womb.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to take callers now. Trust me, I know you lathered up. Billy from Tennessee, what you got to say?
Well, I'd like to thank you for having a good topic. And I'd like to thank your guests for the knowledge that they're sharing.
Appreciate them as well, man.
Earlier, someone on your panel talked about the template. You got so many people that's capitalized.
Okay, that prepaid ran on out. It's all right. That's our brother.
He's still there? Okay. Come on, Billy. Billy.
It's not only the whites who's capitalizing off of that template. And you can give that template a name like the monkey see, monkey attitude. Monkey see, monkey do. And met with fashion and music and all of that. So how do you change that template? You're only going to change that template by getting to the family. You can't take a kid and raise a kid. You got to have an adult somewhere to pass your knowledge on somewhere.
Absolutely.
That's good information, Billy. That's good information.
Yeah, so how you gonna keep it real if you can't change your template?
Hey, and that's a solution.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Billy. That's a solution. Billy said we've got to change the template, and the template has to be a collection of beliefs and standards that we could, that are put together that we strive to achieve. So we've got to relook at that template and say, wait a minute, this might not be in our best interest.
Here is our problem, though. We are running out of time. By the time we get enough black people together to make up a new template, we already have all the information. Most people do. Like I said, the issue is how to get the blind, deaf, and dumb to accept a new truth and change their life, to change their diet and make some other fundamental changes in their lifestyle that will impact upon the entire community. That's the issue. It's not about having the information. We have the information. But it's once again, as the question you raised, so how can you get that into one of these boys out here on the street or one of these girls? And I'm in the schools, I'm in the prisons, I'm in the different places and talking to them. And the level, the depth, the entrenchment of the ignorance and the backwardness, it is enough to really frustrate you. We have to keep doing it because we are God-driven ourselves. We have to try to save them.
Wow.
Walter, you know what I'm saying. You can't stop at this point.
That's good stuff.
Tariq. This is what we must do. However, we are running out of town. We're going to age out of this thing.
Wow. Dre from Chicago, can you respond?
We are not running out of time. We are out of time. We have been seriously and mentally brain dead since the Tower of Babel. Let us go down and confuse their languages amongst them. We have been dead since then, okay? First of all, power stripped away. Religious bullshit. Everybody forget about universal love and light. No more racial speak. I have found the light switch, my brother. I am a child of light. We are gods. But we are already out of time. It's over with. It's done. It's done.
Wow. Appreciate the call. Thank you. I don't agree personally. I don't believe that. Listen, a wise man once told me, he said, as long as children are being born, there's hope.
Then we have a lot of hope because black girls are having a baby about every 64 seconds, so we got a lot of hope.
And that's true. Yeah. And that's true. We don't even want to talk about the abortion campaigns that are going up on billboards all over the country featuring black females. We don't even want to go there just yet. I got to take a quick break. We're going to come back, take more callers. Black love versus self-hate. Shahrazad Ali and my man Tariq King Flex. And man, this shit is so crazy. I'm flummoxed. I'm flabbergasted. But it's okay. My brother Booker T. Coleman will be back at 2.2.
Niggas just on some feed they kid shit. Living in the system brought to you by big business.
Ladies and gentlemen, ZoWilliams, the voice of reason. That's my homeboy Chase Skizza from Dina Love, Pasadena, where I'm from. I got to put him on when I can. Did you hear what that dude was saying in that?
Chase was spitting, wasn't he?
And I'm just saying, dude, the Niglabic, which is the language of the Negroes. The Niglabic. Niglabic. It's all the content, to me, that denigrates our society, that breaks our society down.
Niglabit. I love it.
Niglabic.
Is that close to Kunglish?
Yeah, Kunglish. That'll work. You feel me?
Yeah.
But see, again, there are these internet sites, man, that produce a lot of this shit.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is where you can go to get all that garbage from. WorldStarHipHop.com, Bossip.com, MediaTakeout.com, OnSmash.com, right? Vlad TV, This Is 50. Again, most of, and African Americans are like, you know, anybody else who wants to see a train wreck. We go to the websites to look at all of this madness. You see all of these things happening. This is where dude broke. What's the gay dude? Hide your kids, hide your wife, and all of this is where he broke.
And you know what about Antoine Dodson?
Yeah.
When I first saw that, I knew they were going to have a ball with that. When I saw that.
Let's make another coon. The gay version of Flavor Flav a star.
I bought that domain name. I bought his domain name, Antoine Dodson. If you type in Antoine Dodson right now, it goes to the website Hidden Colors. $10 for the movie.
Tell me that ain't G right there.
Type Antoine Dotson in and see what you get.
Wow. So let me do this really quickly. Graduation rates for black males in the United States during 2007-2008 year was at 47%. Of course, that's below 50%. That means, 53% dropout rate. So we're in trouble there. And it's very important to me. And it's not about, listen, when I say education is important, I don't mean just a Europeanized education. I mean knowledge of self as well.
Absolutely.
Again, my uncle told me, he said, dude, graduating from college, that's cool, but really it's about getting the paper. And the paper is like a certificate or a passport into a club. An elect few of people
let's say it
who
used
show
to be.
that. And he was saying, yeah, you graduate and that's cool, but that's just entrance into the club. It's like showing your ID.
Right.
And he said, but it don't make you who you are. But here's the problem. When it comes to black culture, just like the brother said, teaching an African studies class when you're in the 25th mile of a marathon, that ain't really going to quench your thirst for what you need to know about who and what you are. So let me just do this really quickly. I'm about to wrap the show. This show has been on fire. Let me start with Brother Booker T. Jr. Booker T., please let everybody know where they can find you. This is a very important brother and a very important cog to the movement of our community, the upliftment of our community. Please tell us where we can find you really quickly, brother.
Come to me at Kamene, Kamene.
Kamene.
Kamene, 777 at AOL.com.
There you have it. Sister Shahrazad Ali, let me just say, I am in awe and in deep respect of you taking out time to participate in such an important conversation. We miss your voice in the community. I want to hear more from you. I'm doing another show about womanhood. I'm going to call you. Please share with me where people can find you.
Well, just like Hiawatha, I don't want a lot of people finding me, but I do. I have enough people finding me. I can give my email.
Please.
And if you want to contact me about any of my books, something like that, then I'll leave that. And my name, Shahrazad Ali, just like it sounds, Shah, SHAH. RAZAD, Shahrazad Ali at zoomtown.com.
At zoomtown.com.
Yes, that's something they got here in Cincinnati. I never heard of that either.
We appreciate you, sister. I love you to death. I am in deep respect and awe of you.
And I respect you all, and I appreciate this, and I love Tariq, and I love Hiawatha. I think you're doing a wonderful job, brother, and I respect that, what you're doing so much, and the time you have spent to learn all of this stuff about us. And I hope that I can learn some of it and pass it on. And I really wanted to try to learn something I can put in between two pieces of bread and eat it. That's where we at now, okay?
All right. Appreciate you. Thank you. And Brother Tariq.
Yes, my man. We got the documentary Hidden Colors coming out next weekend in Los Angeles. April 14th at the Music Hall Movie Theater.
We got tickets.
You
want to give tickets away tonight?
If you're in LA, call up, get tickets to see Hidden Colors out here in Los Angeles next Thursday.
I mean, he left us 4 tickets to give away right now.
You can take your girl, your mistress, your baby moms, 2 of your kids, whoever you want to take, call up and get the free tickets. And also, the movie is going to be in New York City, April 17th, Washington, D.C., April 17th, Atlanta and Toronto, April 16th. For more information about Hidden Colors, go to hiddencolorsfilm.com. Support this film. It's really, really needed in the community. Dr. Coleman is in it. Shahrazad Ali is in it. I'm in it. I have a brother named Phil Valentine. Umar Johnson. Phil is a bad brother.
He's cold. He's cold.
Piece. Phil is spitting that hot fire. This is the documentary about history, black history. You cannot miss this. Bring your kids. It's rated PG. You're going to enjoy it. I promise you that.
All right, let me do my final thoughts. Tonight's show asked if black love still exists. Well, my response to this question is that it never did. We must understand that true love, like math, is a universal language. I call love the universal language of divine appreciation. It is consideration, affection, intimacy, respect, and acceptance of oneself and others. I believe that the black community is in serious need of this kind of love. Also, I believe that we as human beings from every walk of life tend to obscure the experience of unconditional love by looking at it through the sometimes confounding filters of racism, nationalism, materialism, sexism, and classism. And although every race offers a safe haven for the cultivation of identity, pride, and an overall sense of belonging, it also comes with the side effect of experiencing love through potentially limiting filters that could also be associated to any given culture. True love cannot be seen through the eyes of fear, lack, competition, oppression, hatred, social status, or through the desensitized eyes of the socially conditioned mind. True love has no racial preference. Only the small-minded believe in such a limited way of life. I can only ask my people to learn to love again by first relearning to love ourselves individually first. I'm ZoWilliams, the voice of reason, and that's my final thought. Trust me, if you want to talk about this, you can email me at zo@SiriusXM.com. I love the show, I love the guests, and I appreciate you all. I'll see you next week.